I'm trying to create a better me, so hopefully people who are hearing this are taking it the right way, can say, I can run a mile. It ain't about running 205 fucking miles, doing 4,000, being in the city. It ain't about all that shit. Shit doesn't matter. I want you to see how fucking far you can go, because we all come from that shit. That's why I have to be so authentic and so real about my own insecurities, my own faults, just being a fucked up person. I'm not the best at anything. I'm not gifted. I'm just driven.
What's going on, successful people? This is the Success Story, and today I have a very special guest here with me for the first episode of season 2. This dude has been my friend since we were 17. We have been kicking it. We have done some things together. We had some fun together. We went to school together. Went into the army together. Man, we did a lot of things since 17. And today I am here to talk about his success story, from where he started to where he's at right now and still progressing to. So without further ado, I want him to introduce himself today. You got the floor.
What's up, everyone? My name is Joshua Jones. I'm currently a UX designer student, graduate student. I currently hold as well my bachelor's in simulation and game design, specialization in programming.
Okay. And you said you have your bachelor's in UX design. Like, what does that entail? What is UX designing?
My bachelor's is in simulation and game design, specialization in programming. My graduate degree that I'm in pursuit of, should be finished in the next 18 months, is in UX design.
Okay, so you're going to be basically coding for games and shit?
Well, for the simulation and game design, yes, being able to program video games, but it's one of those degrees that it's multi-purpose. So because it's coding involved, I can switch over to any field of programming because of object-oriented programming is used in a lot of different areas in today with the growing technology that's out there. The UX design for my master's program, that's with dealing with user interface, any human computer interactions that's out there, from the computer that you're using, a tablet, your phone, creating applications, the computer system that you use in the car, aviation system, anything that interacts with the human, any computer system that interact with the human. I'll basically know how to properly set it up with the psychologically way that humans think to give it a better performance and better reaction with humans.
So you're going to be dealing with stuff like how to get people to buy Call of Duty, or how to make Call of Duty better so it can be better on the market, and so they can have more customers that buy the Activision games, or stuff like Mortal Kombat, Call of Duty, Battlefield. And I know Battlefield is not ran by Activision, but games like that.
Yeah, so the UX side is also part of understanding research. You have to understand your target user. So for any product that's being put out there, we have to do intensive research on our target user. So if I was working for Call of Duty, or if I was working for Apple, I will research the market. Who's our target user? We know that kids from 13, 14 to people 60 use our phone. So we would have to go and research that demographic, what they like, how they think, do little survey feedback, so we can properly design a user interface that will help easily be integrated into humans' life to be usable and perfected. So it's a lot of multidisciplinary fields, that's interdisciplinary fields that's involved in UX design. I'm combining it with my programming degree for simulation and game design for video games, so I can create better user interfaces for video games and for like controllers, being able to design haptic feedbacks that play on human senses and things like that.
Okay. Now, I grew up mostly from later teen years until you're adult. Is this something that you always wanted to do, or is this something that you gradually thought about over time?
I've had the thought of becoming a game programmer and designing video games, but it wasn't my first choice. Of course, like most boys growing up, sports was your first choice. But after my junior season in high school, I tore my ACL in the middle of a game.
So when you say you tore your ACL, like you just destroyed it, like it's done for.
I took my junior year. I took a hit to my a helmet straight to my knee and tore my ACL, MCL, and then it got re-injured again later on. But after that, I was pretty much done as far as trying to pursue fully some type of career in sports.
Okay. Now I used to see you when we was down at the rec. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all had bunnies, I ain't had the bunnies out there. I couldn't dunk. I mean, I might can shoot sometimes. Like then again, I sucked at basketball. But you used to, as we used to call it, jump out the gym. Is that still possible to this day?
Like we had this conversation before, like I can still move just as fast. I jump. I just can't dunk like I used to, but that comes with age. I'm sharper in other areas.
Hey, no boy. I understand. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit, right? So we're 17, and I want to know if you remember this conversation. We were sitting there, we was looking for jobs, and then we was like, man, we could sell drugs or we can go to the Marines. And then I looked at you like you was crazy when you said the Marine part. And I was like, Marines? Man, nobody going to the Marines. What's wrong with you? I remember that. We were sitting at your brother's in your brother's apartment on his couch because we was hurting. We was hurting.
Yeah, because it was kind of hard for us because it didn't like the job market still to this day for 17, 18, 19 is still like difficult. When we was at that moment, it was like the jobs that we was going for, they wanted like 5-10 years experience. Right. But yeah, we hire you at 18, but you got to have 5-10 years experience. And the shit didn't make sense.
It did make sense. And life was definitely getting crazy in the DMV around that time too. And then you went to school for a little bit. Where did you end up going?
Well, I end up starting at DeVry University for finance, and I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Finance wasn't for me. I got a call from my late cousin to come back to the Midwest. Andre called me to come to go to school with him in Iowa Western. That we'll have a hell of a time. I think at this time you had already went in before I did because I got denied because of my knee before they actually gave me a waiver. So I had went to Iowa Western Community College, and it just so happened because of my cousin's health problems, he wasn't able to go. So I flew all the way from here in the East Coast to the Midwest just to go to school by myself because my cousin wasn't able to go. And I ended up I tried the criminal justice thing, and like, I'll go criminal justice. And like, I have an aunt that's, FBI analyst in DC, my late aunt again. And so I tried that. And then after 6 months, it was just like, I don't know what about this, but I ended up running into another Army recruiter, and basically I told him my situation, how, me and you went in here in the DMV and I got denied. And the first thing he said to me was, "You didn't try to get a waiver?" I'm like, "A waiver?" He never mentioned a waiver.
Damn recruiters.
And sure enough, in a matter of like 2 weeks, when I was at the tail end of my first semester at Iowa Western, he was able to get the waiver in and start going through the MEPS process. And I left school, and about that summertime of that year, I ended up going away into military first boot camp in Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
Okay. How was that experience? I mean, I went to, they call it relaxing Jackson. I hate that they do that because there was nothing relaxing about Fort Jackson when I went there. But how was your experience going through basic and them, you know, they say yelling at them, yelling at you and trying to tell you to do stuff that normally you wouldn't do, getting up early in the morning. How was that?
It was challenging at first. I mean, going from being the type of person I was and not letting people get in your face and yell and scream and stuff, because I wasn't having none of that as a teenager and young adult. But when I realized then that I was here for a reason and paycheck, so I pretty much was able to tune it out after the first 2 weeks of red phase and stuff and things. After you get through the logistics of them teaching you where to go, what to do, and having to adjust to all the new environment, people yelling at you. The only female interaction is when you're actually outside working out and doing stuff. And it was definitely different, but once you got through it, you understood it. It definitely helped me learn how to handle myself better and stressful situations, learning to depend on other people. That was one of my many flaws when I was younger. Still a little bit to this day is depending on other people. I had a mindset, if I'm going to get stuff done, I had to do it. But after that, it became great. You finally realized the reason why the drill sergeants was yelling at you, why they was pressuring you. And I don't know why they call it relaxing Jackson, because when I went there in 2010, it was during one of their record hottest summers. So I went to basic training in the summertime in South Carolina. And, you know, we had to wear the greens all day and running around. If we wasn't doing PTs with the shorts and the short sleeves, we was in, you know, our greens button up. So we were sweating. I was sweating constantly. Like I literally went in. When I went into the Army, I was 210. I left at 177, 176.
God almighty. So that
there
was
there was no moment that I didn't sweat. Even when I was even when I was in bed sleep, I was sweating in my sleep. Like I had to sneak and take a shower like twice a night.
Bro, the fact that we had to sneak and take a shower. So you get through basic, right? So you go through AIT, which is advanced individual training. What job did you end up choosing while in the military?
Okay, so I ended up choosing petroleum supply. I originally had the intent and scores to go in as an MP, but after going to school for criminal justice and just knowing that's not what I wanted to do, I stuck with petroleum supply, and I basically learned how to manage the logistics of storing the fuel, doing hot cold refuels, taking inventory of the gasoline and products, learning how to clean water out the tank, and just properly fueling. I did anything from C1 137s to C17s, Chinooks, any military vehicle. I did hot and cold fuel refuels, so helicopters, blades spinning, just having a touchdown and get topped off and go. I worked on the aviation unit when I was in the military.
And was that fun?
It was relaxed. It was chill. The only time that it got intense is just when you had to make sure that you was being like safety measures and stuff like that when you're doing the hot fuels and stuff. When the planes blades are spinning and everything going crazy, you gotta focus on that. But other than that, it was, for the most part, it was great.
Okay. So you're in the military, you're doing all this cool stuff and everything. When did you say, you know what I mean, like, this really ain't for me anymore?
Toward the tail end of 2011 going into 2012, there was already some rocky stuff going on. Getting calls from family, people breaking into the house, mom, sis not having money, eviction notice, drama going on base. I walked in, like the final straw for me was Christmas, December 2011. I wasn't home with my girlfriend. I get a call from the detectives and to just ask me where I was and things like that. And come to find out, my girlfriend at the time was murdered by her children's father. And after that, that was like the final straw for me. So I ended up getting out. After that, I didn't have any more effort mentally. I couldn't deal with the military after that. It was just one stuff after another. So I ended up getting out after that to January 7th, 2012.
Okay. So you did total 2.5 years in the military. You get out, and then, you know what I mean, I'm pretty sure you got a lot of shit going on mentally, you know what I mean, trying to figure it out. Did you try to seek help at the time? You know, like you got your girlfriend is gone, you got family issues, you just left the military. What was going through your head at the time?
Just trying to figure out the next steps. My first 2 years out of the military was just trying to find my footing back into like civilian world. I started working in armed security, and after that basically put me from working properties to working clubs and bars, armed and stuff like that. And I just drowned myself in work. Work.
So for the listeners, where was you at when you left the military? When all that stuff happened in the military, where was you at? So they can know, like, you went from here and you had to come back here.
I was stationed in Fort Riley, Kansas, Big Red 1.
Okay. And then you ended up back home?
Yeah, back in the DMV.
Okay. And my fault. You don't call the DMV home technically because you're from Nebraska.
Correct.
But you ended up back in the DMV. You're doing security jobs. I think we hung out around that time too. Used to work at the little club that was by my mom's old. She used to do nails at it and whatnot. I can't remember the name of the joint, but I do remember that.
Yeah, Andrew's Cocktail Lounge.
Yeah. So you got that going on. Fast forward, you said, "Yo, I had enough of the DMV," and then what you do?
I ended up moving probably after 2015. I ended up moving to LA, Lawndale, California, like Southern California. And that was just like heaven.
And I always remember, as you know, growing up, you always said you wanted to move to California, specifically LA. You always loved that scene. You're a Lakers fan. You're a big Kobe fan, and you know what I mean. So I knew that, and when I heard that person, I was like, shit. I mean, that's good, man. This man living his doggone dreams. This man playing on the beach, you know, drinking Mai Tais every day, you know, living his best life. I was a little sad that you was, you know, what I mean, that you was on the other side of America. But I was like, you know, hey man, he loving it. That's good. You know, I mean, I'll visit him on the other side. I think I was, if I'm not mistaken, I probably was in Texas around this time when you went to LA.
El Paso, Texas.
Yeah. So you wasn't far. You know what I mean? San Diego was like, I think 8 to 10 hours with speed or not speeding. But I mean, yeah. So you're living your best life in LA. Tell, like, I've never been to LA. And I'm pretty sure some of the audience never been to LA. But tell us that experience. Like, what was it like on a day-to-day basis?
Well, for me, I've pick and choose the areas I go. You gotta be smart about where you go, especially when you're unfamiliar, like in places like when you move. But for me, I was going to school full time and I was working full time. As soon as I got out there, I was going to the Art Institute in Santa Monica. So I would drive up from Los Angeles up to Santa Monica, well, Lawndale and Los Angeles County to Santa Monica, go to school. When I got out of school, I would go straight to the gym across the street, work out for an hour, get done, shower, grab my bags, and then I'll go to Manhattan Beach. I'll chill on the beach, do my homework on the boardwalk at least 3-4 times out the week, because I literally live, like, my apartment then was like 10 minutes away from Manhattan Beach. So I'll go spend the rest of the evening at the beach. Then I'll go home, change, put my security uniform on, and go work armed security at the nightclubs there in Los Angeles, which I got to meet some great people. I got to meet some royalty, like actual, like Princess from over in the Middle East came and partied out at some of the clubs.
Oh shit.
And stuff like that. So get to see some of the celebrities, nice, expensive vehicles. I hated the traffic in LA, especially the 405. That was awesome. Literally, you on a highway and you can hop out your car, smoke, get back in your car, and you still ain't gone nowhere.
That's a doggone shame. That sounds like 95.
Yeah,
like between 4 and 3 and 6 p.m.
and the trip from where I live in Lawndale to Santa Monica, it was only like maybe without traffic, probably a 25-minute trip, but it will always take me an hour and 45 to 2 hours to get to school because of having to go during rush hour. I had classes in the morning and stuff. I've always been an early bird since I got out of the military. So go to classes in the morning, I was caught up in traffic.
Okay. So you're in LA, you're living your best life, you're going to school for what was you going to school for? Because you said you was at the Art Institute in Santa Monica.
Yeah. This is when I started. Well, it's not when I started, but this was in the beginning stages of my simulation and game design degree.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you started with that. I know you met any girls down there?
Actually, yes. I was actually seeing someone named Angel, actually McGee. She was from my hometown in Nebraska, and it just so happened to each other, and it was just like, I don't know, universe, whatever. So we was just spending most of the time together and things like that. She graduated with a degree in I think theater arts or something like that. And we was spending a lot of time together out there.
Okay. So you're in LA, living your best. Like, how long was you there for?
A year. Unfortunately, a year.
What made it come up short?
Some legal stuff. I was arrested by U.S. Marshals and brought back to Maryland.
God damn. And I know where this went, and I know it's just very hard to talk about. But I'm gonna let you tell your story. What was the charges that they had you on?
Well, I was being charged with pimping, but now with the new changes with legislations and law from 2016, it went from being called pimping to human trafficking.
Which is like a pretty, hefty accusation against you. You know, I mean, you're living your best life in LA. You probably out of nowhere, U.S. Marshals come grab you up and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And you're being extradited back to Maryland. And while there, how was that going? Was you able to tell your truth? Did anybody believe you? Or was it just you're guilty until proven innocent?
I mean, from start to finish, it was guilty until I can try to prove myself innocent. I knew the situation because the situation actually happened 2015. I met a girl all of 2 days and only hung out in her physical presence of being around this girl for only a matter of 3 hours in 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
The girl asked if I can help her out and get her a place. She didn't have a place to stay. She was up here from North Carolina. She hit me up online first for us to smoke and chill. I go hang out with her and smoke. I get there. She's having all types of complications. She got her bags all over, like her bags are thrown out all over the ground and shit at the Red Roof Inn and shit.
Mm-hmm.
She's saying that her and her family got into it and they basically threw her out.
Damn.
And she didn't have a place to go. So being me, she had asked me to help her out since I was already coming up there to smoke. And I told her that she couldn't stay with me at my house. I have my nieces and nephew because at that time it was me, my older brother, his baby mother, my niece Kamora, and my newborn nephew at the time, Christian, all in a 3-bedroom townhouse, 2-floor, 3-bedroom townhouse in Greenbelt. So I told her that I couldn't help her as far as that, but what I can do is get her a hotel room, and told her that she didn't have to pay me back. Just let me know, like, if you need help while I'm out here and stuff like that, while you still out here waiting for your family to book you a ride back or whatever. I had offered to get a ticket for her to go back. She said no, because her family was going to send her send the money so she can get it. She didn't want to impose on me helping her out already with getting a hotel room. So bam, I had got the hotel room, left. I get a call like, hey, you still going to take me to Walmart? I need to get some stuff. And I'm like, sure. When I get back from school, I'll come pick you up. Everything, like, even everyone knew me, everyone that was around me, everyone seen my schedule. I go to school during the daytime. I come home all of like 3-4 hours because I was going to school in Crystal City at the time, at the Art Institute in Crystal City. That's like a 45-minute to an hour drive from Crystal City all the way up to Greenbelt. And then I'm already doing that commute, and then I have to get changed and still in like 3-4 hours come right back down to DC because I'm working armed security again for Hamilton's private security. So I ended up coming back from school and went home, got dressed, saw my nieces and them, and went to the hotel so I can hurry up and take her to Walmart, drop her back off, and head down to go to work. But just like that, never went to the hotel, never went up, any of that thing, had any type of interaction whatsoever like that. As soon as I pull back up to the hotel, I get arrested.